Hey guys, I just wanted to make a video on partial quotients using the Big Seven theory. Um, this is the way that we learned yesterday, and I think it's honestly just an easier way for you guys to understand how to use part of the quotient to find your exact quotient or your exact answer. Let's start with our first one. We had 5. I'm going to just make this closer. 5 into 125. And again, you can't see, or 125 divided by 5, you can't see your 7 yet, so you need to make your 7. So how many times can 5 fit into 125? You want to think of a big number because 125 is in a 3-digit number, so 5 can fit in there a lot of times. Use your 0 rule. You know that 5 can fit into it in 125 about 20 times. So my 20 goes on the other side of my 7. 20 times 5, or 5 times 2 is 10. And I just have to add a 0. So 5 times 20 is 100. Subtract. 5 minus 0 is 5. 2 minus nothing is 2. And 1 minus 1 is nothing. Now, this answer down here, 5 can still fit into 25. As long as this answer is bigger than 5, you can still put a partial quotient over here. So 5 can fit into 25 5 total times. So 5 times 5 equals 25. And you have nothing left over. You're all finished. You don't have to do any more subtraction, any more partial quotients. The last thing you need to do is add up your partial quotients that you found over here. 20 plus 5 equals 25. And since 25 is only in the tens and the ones, you only want to put that above your tens and your ones. So 5 can go into 125 25 times. Let's try it again. How many times can 4 fit into 492? Or 492 divided by 4. You know that 4 can fit into it at least 100 times. Because 4 times 100 is 400. And subtract. 2 minus nothing is 2. 9 minus nothing is 9. 4 minus 4 is nothing. Now you want to think 92, this number down here, is still bigger than 4, so we need to figure out how many times you think 4 can fit into 92. 4 can fit into 92 about 20 times because 2 times 4 is 8, and then just add the 0. So 20 times 4 is 80, and subtract. 2 minus nothing is 2. 9 minus 8 is 1, 12. Again, this number is still bigger than 4, so 4 can fit inside of it. How many times can 4 fit inside 12? 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. And there's nothing left over. So if you add them all up, 100 plus 20 plus 3 equals 123. So 4 can fit into 492 123 times. Or 492 is divided by 4 is 123. Let's try number 3. How many times can 3 fit into 657? 3 can fit into 657 about 200 times. Think about how do you get from 3 to 6? 3 times 2 equals 6, but it's 600. So 200 makes the most sense because 200 times 3 would give you 600. Subtract. 7 minus 0 is 7. 5 minus 0 is 5. And 6 minus 6 is nothing. How many times can 3 fit into 57? Pick something you know. 3 times 10 is 30. Subtract again. 7 minus nothing is 7. 5 minus 3 is 2. This number is still bigger. 3 can fit inside of it. 3 can fit inside 27, or how do you get from 3 to 27? 9. 3 times 9 equals 27. And there's nothing left over. You're all done. Your last step is to add up your partial quotients. 219. 3 can fit into 657 219 times. Moving on to number 4. Draw your big 7. 8 can fit into 184. I want to say about 20 times. 8 times 2 is 16, and just add a 0 will give you 160. Subtract. 4, 2, nothing. And again, you can choose anything that you want. These are just the things that are coming to mind for me. How many times can 8 fit into 24? 8 can fit into 24 3 times, because 3 times 8 equals 24. Subtract. Nothing. Add up your partial quotients, 23. 8 can fit into 184 23 times. Notice how my 10s and my 1s are above my 10s and my 1s. 7. How many times can 7 fit into 224? I want to say we can start off, think about your times tables. How many times can 7 fit into 20 or 22? It can fit into about 30 times, because 7 times 3 equals 21. Just add the 0 will give you 210. Subtract. How many times can 7 fit into 14? Can fit to it twice. 2 times 7 is 14. And it can fit into a total of 32 times. Moving on to number 6. How many times can 4 fit into 692? It can fit into it about 100 times, because 100 times 4 is 400, and that's lower. How many times can 4 fit into 292? 4 can fit into it about 60 times, because 6 times 4 is 24, and then let's add your 0. Subtract. How many times can 4 fit into 52? About 10 times, because 10 times 4 is 40. Subtract. How many times can 4 fit into 12? 3. 3 times 4 is 12. Nothing left over. Add them all up. 173. This one was a long one. 4 can fit into 692 173 times. On to our final ones. How many times can 7 fit into 504? About 100. Oh, not 100 times. I'm sorry. 50 times. 7 times 5 is 35, and add a 0. Subtract. This goes 5. How many times can 7 fit into 154? About 20 times. 7 times 2 is 14. Just add a 0 would make it 140. Subtract. 7 can fit into 14 twice. 2 times 7 is 14. Nothing left over. 7 can fit into 504 72 times. Notice how my 10s and my 1s are above my 10s and my 1s. Moving on to number 8. How many times can 9 fit into 819? It can fit about 90 times. 9 times 9 is 81, and just add a 0. Subtract. 9 can fit into 9 once. 1 times 9 is 9. Nothing left over. So 9 can fit into 819 91 times. And our last one. How many times can 3 fit into 429? Can fit into about 100 times, because 100 times 3 is 300. Subtract. How many times can 3 fit into 129? About 40 times. 4 times 3 is 120. Subtract. 9. 3 can fit into 9 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Nothing left over, and you get 143. Can fit to 143 times. All done.